Hello everyone, Chaos here, and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. If you clicked on this newest episode, it means one of two things. Number one, you are a legend who is subscribed with notifications on, or you are feeling a little burnt out of OSRS and you are looking for some inspiration to keep the grind going. Personally, I think we've all been there at one or multiple points during our RuneScape journey, as the grindy nature of the game could make things pretty repetitive at times. So today, I am going to give you guys 8 tips in order to keep your game experience fresh, and at the end, I am also going to give you general tips not to burn out not only on old school RuneScape, but also in other games or other areas in life. As you guys know, I love grabbing a topic inspired from OSRS and see where else we can apply it. Now, technically, I already made another version of this video, which was my end game goals guide, but this video can be applied at any point in the progression of your account, and it's not specifically for players who are already maxed or whatever, but you can apply these tips anywhere along the way. Instead of my infamous disclaimers, if you are a fan of the channel and the content we've been putting out during these past 3 months, I ask that you stay at the very end where I have a special announcement regarding the direction of the channel starting this week. And who knows, maybe there will be a bond or 2 up for grabs. So with that, let's look at the tips I have for you guys in order not to burn out in old school RuneScape. Number 1 is going to be questing and diaries, and yes, I know that a lot of people are going to complain about this one because quests for a lot of people are not entirely fun, and I'll be honest, they were not fun for me either. At the very beginning of my account, I was like, okay, I don't want any content to be locked behind the quest, so I am just going to get the questscape as early as I can, so I don't have to do them, later down the road. The diaries could potentially be applied in the same way, and the reasoning behind this is that you guys can look at questing as a one-time thing. Now, there's a big difference between questing and grinding a 99, where if you get to the end game in terms of a skill, let's say runecrafting, fishing, cooking, you do the same things over and over for 10, 20, 50, 100 hours. But questing, even though it takes, maybe the longest quests could potentially take upwards of 2, 3, 4 hours if you are brand new to the game, those are 4 hours that you need to invest once and that's it. Unlike other skills where you have to do those things, very, very often, questing and diaries are just one thing that you have to do once and that's it. Now, obviously, when new quests and diaries and the newly released combat achievements are released, then obviously it is just one thing that you have to do once, and they are going to be 100% done after that. And speaking of grinding 99s, tip number 2 is going to be grinding an easy 99 in the form of fire making, cooking, fletching, and if you have a lot of money to burn, you can even go for crafting and construction. The reason for this is that in other skills such as runecrafting, fishing, things that are fairly slow, also like mining, agility, woodcutting, if you grind an easy and quick 99, you can feel like the game is going way faster, and it's honestly going to be very nice if you feel like the game is getting pretty slow. In terms of construction, with good clicks you can get 400,000 experience per hour, prayer you can get upwards of like 500, 600,000, and for fire making it's anywhere above a 300,000, and not to give you guys every single experience rate per hour in one of these easy skills, you can potentially go ahead and grind any of these in order to feel like you are actually progressing your account, and yeah, that one should be pretty nice and easy, and a good way to feel like you are actually doing something worthwhile. Tip number 3 is going to sound counterintuitive to the video, and it's also going to sound like a contradiction to the previous tip, but for this one I have grinding boring skills. Now, this, you guys could potentially, say that I'm wrong or whatever, but if you grind a boring skill, let's say some of the most unpopular ones, runecrafting, agility, mining, then obviously whenever you are burnt out, you can do something else like watching a movie, watching a series, and you can AFK things like mining at the Motherlode Mine, rooftop agility courses, and once you get level 77 runecrafting especially, that is going to be incredibly AFK, and those are things that you can do while you do something else like reading, working, or doing anything else that you don't specifically need to pay a lot of attention to the game. So you could potentially say that you are playing the game without necessarily playing it, and you are going to kill 2 birds, or shoot, I don't know that little thing in English, but you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, doing something productive and also AFKing something in old school RuneScape, as you are not going to have to pay much attention to it whenever you are playing full focus. Number 4 is going to be learning a new boss. Now I have a new boss specifically here, but you can potentially apply this anywhere else to any other activity regarding PVMing, like for example Corp, even though that's very difficult to do as a solo player. You can find other people to do this with in mass. Also, you can do this with the Chambers of Xeric, the Theater of Blood, or you can even get, started doing the Inferno if you do not have your Infernal Cape yet. Now, if you learn a new boss, and let's say that you start from the easiest bosses such as the Deranged Archaeologist, the Mole, things that we actually killed in one of the previous episodes where my wife actually killed these bosses, this can be your introduction to PVMing and something you can do without a lot of investing both in time and in supply. So for example, if you are trying to learn something like the God Wars dungeon and you are not particularly good at PVMing, you are going to be able to get, I don't know, anywhere between 0, and if you are really, good starting out, you can go for 3 or 4 kills. But then that can be a little bit frustrating because you're not going to feel like you are progressing that much until you get really good at PVMing, and of course you're going to be able to get a lot more KC. But if you start low with things like the Deranged Archaeologist, the Mole, or anything else that doesn't require a ton of skill, then obviously you are going to, have that little itch of going for more and even more, and then you can get to the, more powerful bosses in order to keep the game even fresher, and so you can do more things regarding PVMing. Tip number 9 is also going to sound a little counterintuitive, but I have making a new account, specifically an Ironman, a hardcore, and for those masochists who actually enjoy Ultimate Ironman, you could potentially try all of these. Now, why does it sound counterintuitive is that if you are burnt out in old school RuneScape, how is that going to help if you are making a new account starting fresh and you have to do all of those things all over again? Now, the reason for this is because, in my personal opinion, from my experience from Leagues 1 and 2, Ironman completely changes the game in terms of how you look at the things you have to achieve in order to progress in the account, and it is going to give the game a complete twist. And honestly, I think in the recent years, the Ironman game mode has become pretty popular. I've seen a lot of people starting new accounts, both Ironman, Hardcore, and even Ultimate Ironmans, and honestly, it sounds like a great idea and something that I'm also going to do for the channel in the upcoming weeks or even months, but more about that in a future video. However, if you are looking for a brand new, fresh experience when it comes to old school RuneScape, making a new account, specifically anything regarding Ironman mode, that is also going to give you a new outlook in the game and potentially, give you more fun. These following tips are not going to be specifically for old school RuneScape, even though you can apply them, but this is where we will begin the part of the video where I said that we can potentially apply this to any other game or any other aspect in life. Tip number 6 is going to be play whenever you feel like it. Now, if you are grinding a 99, this happened to me many times before, where I was like, okay, this day I have to get 500,000 woodcutting experience. There were times in which I was really happy to get that goal, but others in which I literally did not have any motivation to get, to get woodcutting. But honestly, I had to do it because I am pretty OCD about not doing or not fulfilling deadlines. So I was playing and I was fairly miserable because I was like, I really don't want to do this, but I have to. So play whenever you feel like it. Now, honestly, when I say this, it's going to depend from one person to another as to when you feel like playing. So you need to understand and you need to know exactly when you are up to, dumping a few hours in old school RuneScape, in the game, or in any other activity in life that you feel like it. And this could potentially not be obvious right away. You need to maybe play for a few minutes and say, yeah, I can go for a few hours in this, and that is going to know when you are going to feel like it. And of course, don't force it. It's just going to be better in the long run for, for anything, especially your mental health. Number 7 is also pretty important, and I would say it's even more effective than the previous one. And for this one, we have limiting game time. Now, if you are playing during the weekend and if you have the entire Saturday and Sunday to play whatever amount of hours you can, but then you are not necessarily feeling like it, you could say, okay, for these days, I am going to play 3 hours a day, and that's it. Now, if you play those 3 hours, you are going to get into the game thinking that you really need to do something in order to make those 3 hours worth your while. Are you going to get a new level? Are you going to get a new item? Are you going to make more money to buy whatever item you want? Those 3 hours are going to be the limit, and you are going to feel pressured, and that pressure can potentially feel fun for some people. I know it was for me when I was kind of limiting my game time whenever I had more work to do in some past couple of months. So giving giving yourself a deadline of time that you can only play during a certain time of the day is also going to make you feel like you have to accomplish something, and not only is it not going to feel like a grind anymore, but it's going to feel like a challenge that you need to fulfill in order for you to complete before that time is up. So limiting game time is going to be one very good thing to keep the game fresh and to challenge yourself to do whatever it is you set yourself to accomplish in that set amount of time. Last but definitely not least, for number 8, we have taking a break. Now, obviously, if this video is about not feeling burnt out in old school RuneScape, and if you follow these past 7 tips, and if you are still feeling burnt out, the best thing to do is to take a break. Now, you don't want to quit. I've made a video on this, you don't want to sell your account or whatever, and as we all know, there's no such thing as quitting RuneScape. We only take extended breaks, and this is actually true for many people. So it could also be a good thing for you, for you to take a break. And honestly, this is going to be so much better, because at one point during your break, you are going to be like, I miss doing something in the game, I miss doing this, I miss doing that, I want to go PVMing, I want to go make money. And honestly, if it's a game, it should only be done in order to have fun and for you not to feel stressed about many things. And obviously doing this is going to be a good thing for both your mental health and your outlook in the game, as whenever you come back, you are going to, get back into RuneScape with a fresh mindset, and you are going to have, I guess, a new resolve in a new set of goals that you want to achieve, and that is going to be very helpful and very healthy for your mental health and your account. And finally, we come to the end of the video, where I have a very quick announcement for you guys regarding the upload schedule of this channel. If you've been around for a while, you know that I've been uploading 3 videos per week during the past 3 months, and starting today, we will only have 1 video per week. The short explanation is that I want to make higher quality videos, and not just rambly videos that I can pop out in a few hours, and with the amount of work I've been having recently, it's going to be a little difficult to stick to my original schedule of 3 videos per week. Besides work, there's another big reason as to why I'm doing this, but I am going to talk more about it in an unlisted video you guys can watch by clicking the link in the description below or in the card that popped out right about now. There will be a bond giveaway on that video if you want to hear another little ramble, but that's pretty much it. So thank you guys very much for watching, and if you made it this far, make sure to comment the word burnout along with your number 1 tip in order to avoid feeling burnt out in old school RuneScape, to be entered in a bond giveaway where the winner is going to be announced on Friday. You guys have a great day, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!